Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Why don't you go ahead and finish that excellent spot?
I'm going to use I'm going to say Texas. That's a hard word to say. Texas Historical Commission. Abby Jones, the business's third-generation operator, discussed how it felt to carry on the family tradition and what Tom's Tree Place offers the community. She said, my grandparents were starting their young family, and they started in the nursery here. It's been an honor to see our family work at something that helps beautify the community and something that shows their integrity, their honesty, and their hard work.
Well, that's an amazing story right there at 34th and Slide. And I mean, when I was a little kid, I went, so it's old, but 75 years. In most family operations, when it goes down through the generations, they usually blow up and go away. I mean, they sell it and the kids don't. The Scarborough family has stuck together and built an amazing company.
Seemed like they started about the year the Hatches got married.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be far off.
That's close.
Pretty darn close.
But that's Tom's Tree Place. And did want to mention J&W Services, Linco Distributors, and Mighty Wash for you people in the Permian Basin now that we've rejoined y'all. Yeah, that ought to be your car wash. And for some reason, if you're in the oil business, you got to get your car washed all the time, your pickup, because you can't be taking, germs or something. But they got them all over everywhere and in eastern New Mexico, too. Mighty Wash. And also J&W Services, Linco Distributors. You talk about a great company, and they're they're Red Raiders that are in charge and own and do all that kind of stuff. Brent Beck, Scott Blakely, Cade Walton. But they take care of everybody. And if you're in the oil and gas business, they ought to be on your team. I don't know what you need, but they can help you at J&W Services and Linco Distributors. So get them on your team, and you'll be glad that you did.
David and I this week went and met Tom Postema.
Yeah, we did.
Fox 34 TV. And that's the one that if y'all are watching us, Tom's sort of in charge of you watching us. So a new guy here in town from Grand Rapids?
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
I don't know. He's in Minnesota, Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan. He went to Michigan State.
There you go.
He's Sparty. He's Sparty guy.
Yeah.
But he's tech
good fella, and we're
very nice.
We've enjoyed
guy.
being on over there for 16 years, I guess.
Sherry Saffel is retiring. Sherry's a good friend, and she just done an amazing job.
She's a good one.
Yeah, back when Raymar owned all that. Yeah.
I think she's enjoying her retirement.
She and Doug are going on trips and
living the good life.
They got a place in Ruidosa and a ranch down somewhere off the Caprock.
All right.
We appreciate her, too, and all she's done for us.
Do we want to talk about the draft? I watched, I'm going to say, a minute to a minute and a half of it, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And, boy, they turned out in Green Bay. There was a couple of 100,000.
I saw a video last night just showing you what fans know. They're showing some old footage of the draft. The Buffalo Bills select, what's his name?
O.J. Simpson.
No, that would have been way back. They took the quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers.
From Wyoming.
What's his name?
Come on.
Josh Allen.
We're so stupid.
Oh, Josh.
Anyway, so they take Josh Allen, and they show then they go cut away to the Buffalo fans, and they're just, oh my gosh, what are we doing?
Yeah. Boo.
Yeah. Then they go Patrick Mahomes. What? It's just,
Texas Tech.
They don't know any of these fans.
Yeah. Oh, what I thought was funny is they'd go like the Chicago Bears in the minute and a half I watched it, and they named this guy that obviously I've never heard of, and I'm pretty sure they had never heard of him either.
Yeah.
And they just acted like this is the greatest thing ever. We got this offensive lineman from Michigan. Hey. So anyway.
And JJ, what's his name? JJ. Anyway, the defensive lineman, it's so great. Had an unbelievable career. He's retired now.
Watts.
J.J. Watts. Good. We finally got one. I had the J.J. part. It's not that we don't know
J.J.
stuff.
Killeen. I sat with J.J. Killeen's parents just last night.
You did?
Yeah.
Good.
But he didn't have anything to do with the draft.
Anyway, so where did he go? Houston first, or I don't remember where he went. But they cut away to the fans, and they're booing him. They're booing J.J. Watt. It's like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And you're just like, you fan.
I'm going to tell you what, the draft is a crap shoot.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a few things that you think are done deals. I think somebody's going to get them a good deal, if there's such a thing, with Shadir.
Yeah.
I think if nothing, some of these really cocky guys, and I take him as probably a really cocky guy, sometimes you get set in your place a little bit, and it makes you work harder.
Yeah. Prove a point.
Well, you know this, when we're growing up, the kids that were bigger and stronger and didn't have to work as hard because they were just bigger and stronger, sometimes they didn't work out because they didn't have to work as hard and develop the things that when everybody's that size, help them. So I think Shadir's, might have been just getting by on sheer ability, and now he's going to have to buckle up and knuckle up and get after it. But you go 3 rounds, and I saw some deals early on that had him like one of the top 5.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They had him and Travis Hunter going like 2 and 3 in the draft. And boy, when you go from there to it's Saturday, and you've had your party. I wonder if you had another party yesterday.
Still going.
Are you guys come back again tomorrow?
Maybe I'll go tomorrow. To your point here, this NFL meme says Shadir Sanders will make everyone regret passing him on the draft. And then it has down here, nobody wanted Tom Brady. Nobody wanted Lamar Jackson. Nobody wanted Aaron Rodgers. Nobody wanted Dak Prescott. Nobody wanted Russell Wilson. He went in the 3rd round. Russell did. Nobody wanted Kirk Cousins or Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
So those guys have all had great careers, or are having one right now.
I'm glad I didn't throw Mahomes in there because somebody traded up to get him. I think we were dumbfounded that they did that.
Yeah.
Well, they trade up to like number 8 pick or something like that to take Patrick, and we're going, you probably could have waited and got him at 17 or whatever they were, but they probably wouldn't have. And the rest is history.
Now that's pretty, and I don't know what I think about Sanders. I just hate it when they're cocky like that. You know who that guy is right there?
That is Kenny Rogers.
No. It's Bart Bratcher.
Oh, okay.
He's a retired coach. He was down at Round Rock. So I get a message yesterday from Bill Seitzler.
Yeah?
And I go, what in the world, Bill Seitzler? And he's taking this picture. He's been visiting with Bart. They've been talking about old Lubbock Monterey days.
Good guy.
And so Bart, of course, played at Monterey for Coach Magel, third baseman. Yeah. And he sends me that picture and said, we had more fun just talking about the old days with Coach Magel.
Well, they're kinfolk to you, aren't they?
Yeah, he's my second cousin.
Yeah. Yeah, him and Bill both good guys.
Yeah, and I just go, what in the world? And Bill Seitzler was umpiring a game. They're playing like these, I don't know, Bart's not coaching high school anymore, but they're playing like these games that in summer league stuff. And
the old TV Bill Seitzler?
Bill Seitzler, the TV guy. Yeah. We got to get him on the show.
That'd be fine.
You know who's had the most, and you can play too, Brennan, the most football players drafted into the NFL.
Ever?
The most.
Well, my guess would be something like Ohio State.
They're number 3. That's a good guess.
All right.
489.
Maybe USC.
USC's number 2, 530.
Wow. Look at me go.
I know it.
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame's number 1, 532.
You were afraid I was going to run the table, weren't you? You had to jump in there.
He gets to play.
All I want to do is secure the number 1.
Who is from the Southwest Conference, Big 8, Big 12, Big 16, whatever? Who's the number 1?
Texas.
Texas is not even in the top 10.
Or what was the question?
Who the most players drafted into the NFL?
In the Big 12?
Yeah. Well, they're not in the Big 12 anymore, so it's Oklahoma that kind of gives it away. If it wasn't Texas. Oh. Oklahoma's number 4. I might have to pay
more attention to the questions.
Oklahoma's number 4 at 417. Michigan is next.
Yeah.
Then Alabama. I thought they would be higher, but Alabama's number 6 at 411.
Yeah.
Penn State. I don't know how many. I guess we could look it up.
That's sort of the regular folks, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of the real regular folks. Penn State's 7th, LSU is 8, Georgia is 9, and Florida is 10.
Yeah, that's pretty much the.
I wonder how many Texas Tech players have been drafted into the NFL. I
do not know.
Bet we can find that out.
While you're doing that, I'm going to get caught up on the texters here because we don't usually generate a lot of texting. What the texter says? It says, "What are there so many?" I think it's supposed to say, "Why are there so many running backs taken ahead of Taj? Did we overrate him? Did we overrate him because we are Tech homers?" No, he's a wonderful college running back, and that's why he came back, is because he's a wonderful college running back. We don't know in the pros yet because his foot speed, and that's why last week when he was on the show, he was so happy with the time that he ran at the combine, because that's one of the knocks against him is his foot speed. But I don't think anybody questions Taj's desire, his heart, his I mean, he's
his commitment, he won't be a troublemaker.
You're gonna get a good guy, and I hope that he goes early today, and I hope somebody good gets him. But you never know, if a good team gets him, they may not have room for him. You may have to go to a bad team that needs him. So,
all right, here it is. This is Texas Tech.
62.
155 players drafted in the NFL since the league began holding drafts in 1936. This includes 9 players taken in the first round and 1 overall number 1 pick.
Dave Parks.
What year?
63 or so?
64.
64.
That's pretty amazing. That's pretty good. 155, we're just like 300 behind the lead.
Yeah.
We'll catch them.
Well, we might.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah, we won't be here for it.
Well, yeah, we won't be around for it.
It's pretty cool. 155.
Okay, here's a texter says, how excited are you for a offensive line transfer coming from a CU team that gave up twice as many sacks as Tech did? Well, I think the obvious answer is not very excited at all. What do you think, Dave?
Well, it was on the other side of the line they were getting in, not on his side.
Well, that's because they were double and triple teaming this guy.
Yeah.
It left a hole for those other guys.
I don't know.
I don't know.
The guy will have a hard time getting to play probably with the offensive lineman we got.
Well, it says this texter named Brennan Riker, he says that he only allowed 1 sack last year.
Oh, and Brennan Riker, he knows
authority.
His stuff. He knows his stuff.
He knows his stuff.
If y'all are
one of the sharper texters out there. All right, David, this is to you.
Oh.
Are you scared?
No.
Of what's to follow?
Probably something about hair products.
David, the wash is called a bitter weed wash. They don't want it to spread from ranch to ranch.
Okay.
There you have
good.
it.
Thank you. See, that's good information that we need to know. Bitter weed wash. So they would get them to.
And he might have made that up.
But it sounds good to me. We're going with it.
If I was y'all out there, I'd do that. I'd sit out there and just think of some obscure crap and just text it in, see if we'll say it and believe it. Bitter weed wash.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing down there.
Bitter weed wash. Thank you for sharing that. Whoever
in the oil patch, you got to wash the bitter weeds off before you go to another.
Well,
ranch.
They can understand that because they drive all over everywhere in these different sites. I mean, you could do it pretty easy.
All right, next texter. I think this may be the last one for now. Hey, and if you got a question for Ray Hayward, send it in now.
I'm going to write that down.
And we'll try and remember to look in and read it to him. All right, texter says, did Taj Brooks get drafted or will it be today? It will be today.
That's what we think.
That's what we think. We're just going to state it as a fact until it's proven different. So anyway, hopefully it'll be today for Taj.
I'm writing it down. Bitter weed wash.
Yeah. 7 of the first 12 picks in the draft were linemen. 4 offensive and 3 defensive. Only 2 quarterbacks were selected.
That is weird.
There was an over and under on that in Vegas, 2.5. You could either bet over or under 2.5.
You'd be tempted to bet over.
You'd be tempted to bet over because it usually is over. Because last year, how many quarterbacks were taken?
I have no idea.
I'm going to tell you, Dave. 6 of the top 12 last year were quarterbacks.
Yeah, you'd have definitely thought over.
So, anyway, 205,000 fans flocked to Lambeau for the first round festivities. That is almost double the population of Green Bay.
Now hold it. 205,000
flocked. They flocked.
They flocked.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, it's a party.
It's a party.
I mean, that's unbelievable
that
many people would go in there for the draft.
Yeah. And we wouldn't even flip our TV on, and much less go to Green Bay, Wisconsin.
It takes too long. You're on the clock and all that stuff.
All right. Before we leave the draft, Cam Ward was the 7th quarterback to be selected number 1 overall in the past 8 NFL drafts. 7 of the number 1s in the last 8 drafts were quarterbacks. Big B, you can play.
Who was the other one?
Who were the other 5?
Oh.
Can you name the other 6? And I'll give you a hint. We've only got a minute. I'm going to give you a hint. 5 of them won the Heisman.
And they weren't quarterbacks.
And one of them's as cocky as Shadir.
And they weren't quarterbacks.
They're all quarterbacks.
Oh, they're all. I thought you said the one that
6.
wasn't.
6. He was the 7th of that.
Well, Baker Mayfield's one of them.
Yep. Then Cliff drafted one of them. Same college as Baker Mayfield.
From Oklahoma.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
And the guy from LSU, Joe Burrow.
I like that.
The guy with the bad hair, and somebody's got to mention to you, hey, Trevor, the hair you got to go. And then Bryce Young and Caleb Williams. There you have it. We'll be right back.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, let me finish up because I got cut off there about AC Thrash Clothing Company. Go see Howard and Jeremy, and you'll love the stores. I mean, absolutely love. Finest men's stores around anywhere, right here in Lubbock, Texas. So go see them.
Absolutely.
All right. If we're talking about one of the finest people in Lubbock, Texas, he's going to be on our show today.
Yeah. Ray, you're this really great guy. What's the sorriest thing you ever did?
Yeah, you're a former pro player.
I'd rather not say that.
Yeah, I really should have told you that last night.
That's really what we want to talk about.
To prepare.
I could make something up where it wasn't too bad, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, the thing about Ray is that baseball players are renowned for leading people in the wrong direction. That herd mentality. We're going to go do this.
Yeah. Well, I was never a leader. I was always a follower. So that's what I'm going to say, and I'm sticking to it.
There you go. Well, I guarantee the sorriest thing you've ever done in your life would not be very bad at all. I know that for a fact.
Well,
so anyway.
No, I got upset at some chickens when I was about 10 or 11. Put the hurt on them. I can tell you that.
You got the hurt on. All right, now what exactly could a chicken do that would cause you to do ill will to them?
Well, it was one of those things where they told me not to go over there, so that was like telling me that I need to go over there to get around the chickens. And the little pebble turned into extra more and more, and I had a pretty good arm back in those days, so it was kind of. Anyway, it didn't turn out good.
For the chickens.
Time is over.
Came high and tight.
I missed baseball practice that night because I had to help clean chickens all day.
Oh.
So you were a chicken massacre?
What did y'all, I'm assuming y'all ate the chickens?
Yeah, we cleaned them and ate them.
Okay.
You bet.
Okay.
Yeah, we got home that night. Got home that night, and my dad, we sat down at the table, and my mom was I think we were having some type of hamburger deal. I'm sitting there and I'm just waiting to get it. I mean, I was with my grandparents actually. And they brought me home. I missed baseball practice, went in my room, called for dinner. I went in, sat at the table, and I was just waiting. And my dad sits there and he goes, I thought we was having chicken tonight. and it just killed me. I mean, it just.
How old were you, Ray? How old were you?
Probably 8 or 9, I imagine.
But were y'all raising those chickens for eggs, or were you raising them to eat them?
My aunt and uncle lived out in the country, and my granddad and grandmother took me fishing, and they had some other things my granddad was going to do. He was in the oil field out there. Went out there and I got to fish. Had a great time. Well, then we stopped by my grandmother's sister, which is my great aunt and uncle's house out in the country, and they raised chickens, and they did them for eggs and everything. They sold the eggs, and they raised the chickens to eat. And anyway, they said, don't go by the chicken coop because you'll scare them. And if you know chickens, which I knew a little bit about chickens, they said, you start scaring them, they'll fly right in the wall, and they'll go nuts and pretty much break their necks. And I went in and thought I could catch a few, and ended up a lot of them didn't make it through my rampage.
I'll be darned, they do run into the wall.
they take off flying right into that wall. I mean, like it's not even there. I thought, well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And anyway,
wonder why he's not getting up.
Yeah, what's that thing doing? But anyway, it was. It turned into, well, it wasn't good because my granddad, and my uncle come out with a shotgun. And they thought maybe a cow was in there or something.
Just Ray.
That turned out to I was married, had kids, and I went to my uncle's funeral. And my aunt, when the funeral was over, we walked outside and we're sitting there talking, and she said something about the chickens. I mean, this has been how many years? And she still brought it, but we, every family get together, everything happened. We'd walk into somebody's house, and it was, if we were at a farmhouse where they had chickens, it was, stay away from the chickens, Ray. I mean, I was 30 years old.
Still to this day.
To this day, yeah.
I know it. Well,
and then we bring it up today. I'm sorry, Ray.
Then they probably had pictures of the chickens at the funeral of your uncle.
They probably did. No, I can't remember what it was. Her name was Ada. Aunt Ada was her name, and she was a sweet lady. She come out and we were talking, and her husband just passed, which he'd been sick for a while, but. And I can't even remember how it got brought up, but she looked at me and cut those eyes, said something about chickens, and I went, it's still in there. He does not forget that chicken deal.
Well, that was a massacre. You don't forget those.
Yeah. It was, but that to me, that was pretty bad. So.
It was pretty bad. I had no idea that you would have some story like that. I gave a cat a bath one day. You got to hold him real tight.
Oh, Lord.
It was really hard to do.
That's hard.
Finally he got still.
Really? Yeah. You killed a cat?
Well, I was holding him. I was washing him. He wouldn't be still.
Held him by his neck?
Yeah, and I was holding him under the water.
Oh, David.
He didn't make it. I was just a kid.
Oh, I don't care. That's
not as bad as Ray's.
Well, I think it is.
I was just trying to catch it.
We can vote.
I was trying to catch a chicken. I thought it was pretty fast, and I wasn't very fast. So.
Well, Terry, my wife, washed a chicken just yesterday.
Washed one?
Yep. Gave a chicken a bath yesterday.
I didn't know you did that.
And she needed a bath. I mean, yeah, I didn't know you could do it either, but she did.
Don't let me do it.
No, don't let David do it. Or Ray, either one.
My dad caught, how we live it out on the farm, these rabbits would get in the irrigation pipe, the sprinkler pipe and everything. Yeah. My dad caught me 2 little bunnies one day, and they were little.
Sweet.
Bunnies. And I was hugging them.
Oh, did you hug them to death?
I did.
David?
Well, I was not out of hate. It was out of love.
What's that show, Psycho? Didn't he do stuff like that when he was a baby or when he was young?
I'm okay now.
That's very psycho-ish. Anyway.
Well, Ray, we won't tell anybody
that's
your
all
story.
We needed, Ray. We appreciate you. Appreciate you being on.
Playing along with us.
It was good talking to you guys.
Hey, did you use HA products when you were a boy?
HA products? You mean like hair products?
Yeah, Hair Rangers. What it stands for? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I had. You go through a stage where everybody had long hair back in the 60s and all that. So I had to have it. Well, my granddad just hated it. Terrible. I mean, every time he'd look at me, he'd always just stare at my, kind of look to the side, around the ear, kind of look at me like, shake his head. He hated it.
Yeah.
Well, one day my dad, I really, respected my parents, my grandparents. I didn't want to make them upset, and my granddad said something, and so we're driving home. My dad, I said, Dad, I probably need to get a haircut, and he said, you do? So we went by George's Barbershop down there on Main Street there, and he didn't put me in there, and he gave me a flat top, and I come out of there, and I cried all the way home. I got home, and I took that stuff, and I started mashing it down flat on my head. And
it was traumatic.
It was traumatic, yeah. I was pretty young then, too, so it was but anyway.
Hey, y'all remember Barber College? You don't, right? But here in Lubbock on 34th, there's a place called Barber College. And it was just that. They would train people to be barbers. Yeah. Well, I went in there one day, and we were in high school. And Coach Mago, you had to have your hair trimmed up pretty good, but not near like Barber College did it. I go in there, and it was cheap. It was like $1 for a haircut. Yeah. And I should have known something was up when the guy that was cutting my hair called for the professor or whatever to come over. And by the time he fixed what this guy had done, I hardly had any hair left. So I leave there, and I go down to Tom and Bingo's, which was on 34th, and to see Dwayne Clanton, my buddy. And his dad says, looky there, Dwayne. Look at there, Gary, being a leader. Look at that haircut he got. I didn't have the heart to tell him this isn't anywhere near what I was shooting.
Just a leader's what I am.
This is not what I was shooting for at all.
Yeah.
So, anyway. All right, we didn't play last night.
No.
And I think that's probably a wise decision. How's it looking today? I haven't been outside since it was sprinkling this morning. How's it look for today?
Yeah. Well, they're still saying it's good. By 1-2, we'll run that area. It's supposed to be okay for the rest of the afternoon, but you never know. I mean, it's been just kind of sprinkling, drizzling here now. It could always turn around, but right now it's still on. I mean, it's ready to go. So
1 o'clock, right? First pitch.
1 o'clock, yes.
Well, that's one of the great things about the field that we have now is there's hardly any of it. As long as you cover the mound, you're in business. So it can rain a lot, and we're going to play. And we need to. This is a really good team. It's a home game against a really good team. And this schedule this year has not been one that's conducive to the fans coming out. It just didn't flow this year. The schedule just didn't flow especially for the home games. And this is one of our better home games. Arizona's a good team. And
it's going to be one of the better ones, yeah.
And we need to play, and we're playing them here, and we need to win. So
yes, we do.
Well, without a doubt.
We keep waiting, Ray. Gary and I have talked about the last couple of weeks. We're fixing to get on a roll. And in baseball, you can do that.
Yeah.
You can do that. And, you've seen, and we've even talked to the kids about that. There's been, that year we played Michigan, I think it was. Yeah. They were started off like 1-11.
Yeah.
We beat them 4 straight. And they beat us in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, they were struggling. But they turned it on through the year and got going and got hot at the right time, and everything worked out. And it's happened to a number of teams. We were talking about another team from, I want to say California. It was terrible all year, and then end up in the World Series. OU was terrible that one year. I mean, just very, very 500. And came here and they won, and then they ended up in the World Series. Almost won the World Series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it can happen, especially baseball.
You bet. Things can turn around. Guys get a little confidence and relax a little bit and have fun playing. Not worry about the record or your ERA or batting average. Just go out and play baseball. It's funny how things can turn around like that.
Yeah, and playing at home tends to help that. So we really do need to play. David told me we had Kirby on the show last week, and I'm taking his word for it.
He was
and
on.
I asked Kirby this question, and I was a little surprised at the answer. I said, are we behind the NIL curve in baseball? Because I know Tim didn't just embrace it. Didn't say, oh, good, we get to play, pay the players astronomical amounts of money. But and he said, no, we're participating in the NIL with baseball. So I'm going to ask you, do you feel like we're – because you look over there at the SEC and what they're doing, and I think with the NIL, what's your thought on that? Are we up to speed on the NIL, or do we need to turn it up a notch?
Well, I think I don't want to say we're behind. I just want to say we're probably, Tim and we're all old fashioned. We're the old school guys, and we want to go out and find guys and develop them and win that way like we've always won. And now things are changing, and they're changing real fast. And looks like we're probably going to have to do more NIL. Yeah, and of course the NIL thing is getting ready to go out the door here, hopefully in a couple of months, and then we do the revenue sharing and all that stuff that they're talking about, which that'll confuse you just trying to talk about it.
Oh Lord, I tell you,
I know it.
Let's start doing that, but no, Tim, they know what they need to do. He knows what he needs to do, and it's just going to be like everybody else. We're going to have to find guys that can perform and probably pay a little money for them. I mean, it's just the way it is. And as an old school coach and player and just all together, it's hard to do that. Just because you want it the way it was, and now it's changing, and we're just going to have to change with it. Just the way it is. So,
well, it looks like what we're going to in the NCAA is you're talking about revenue sharing. Is what I've seen the way the pie is going to be cut out there at Tech. Is the baseball piece of the pie big enough to be competitive on the level that we want to be?
I think so. I think, there's going to be, we're going to get the revenue sharing plus money raised and all that stuff. So that's going to be the deal. It's just who we can get to participate in the program.
Yeah.
So to speak, and companies around and people that are donors, which we have wonderful donors. So I think we're going to be fine in that aspect of it. I think it's just going to take, some convincing and understanding. I think a lot of guys are still, a lot of the donors, a lot of people in the community, they're still trying to figure out how this whole thing works.
Yeah,
and
how you count.
Yeah. Once they do and figure it out and know what we need and what we're going to have to be competitive, then I don't have any problem. I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. I just think it's a transition here that we're in that's making it a little rough. But I think, again, Tim's, he's on top of everything. He knows what's going on, what we're going to have to do, and he'll make an adjustment. We'll all make adjustments, and we'll be ready. We'll get kind of into the swing of things and get it going.
I'll tell you one of the good advantages that we have out there is Tim and you and Goot and all the guys on the staff. Bob, they're all likable guys.
Gardner
and people like the staff. They like what's going on out there. They like the way things are run, and it's easier to give to something you like. I'm not saying people wouldn't give. Like in the SEC, I'm sure there's some coaches that they don't like, but they're going to give because they want to win. But I think it's an easy give out here with the baseball program because what we're dealing with.
I got to think the players like playing for y'all too.
Ray, we got 1 minute left. Share some knowledge. Lay some knowledge on us. That always gets them.
Hey, I know it. And he asks everybody, and they don't ever know what to say. I don't know why he likes that.
Give me a path somewhere.
Yeah. Well, can we get going, Ray? Do we have the pitching?
We can
I just hear it all the time. The pitching.
Yeah. Well, the main thing we've got to get going is we got to understand that, not every year is going to be a perfect year. Not everything's going to work that way. Everybody wants to work out. You still got to get up every day and get better every day, whether you're playing baseball or anything else, if you want to continue to
That's
compete
a good word.
And succeed in what your ability or what you want to do.
And that's exactly right.
We appreciate you, Ray.
Thank you, buddy.
And good luck the rest of the year.
All right.
See you, Ray. Thank you. Don't kill any chickens.
Ray Hayward.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
The Owen Group and Texas Sports Marketing, which is all part of the same deal, are located at 5107 82nd Lane, Suite 106. But if you go out by Drug Emporium, it's the building. It's a real pretty building that sits back, looks over the golf course at Lake Ridge, and he's, of course, been honored many times, but he was into the Texas Tech College of Media and Communication Hall of Fame in 2024. And he's got so many Addies that he's won through the years. He's just a pro. He helps McGavick. He's flown to Kansas City to do commercials with Patrick Mahomes, and they just got some really big clients. Covenant, Texas Tech System, McGavick, I mentioned, City of Lubbock, People's Bank, Quarter Four, just tons of things. Ronald McDonald House. He is really, really good at his business. That is the Owen Group. Go to OwenGRP.com, OwenGRP.com. And I think that's it for right now.
All right. Mikey Klatt from down in the Midland, Odessa area texted to tell my brother happy birthday from him. And then he said Vitalis.
Oh, Vitalis. There's another
about.
one. I can see the bottle and the color, the yellow color, the whole deal.
Yep, that's right. Okay, you ready?
Vitalis.
A year ago, a handful of schools were able to easily clear $5 million on the money, but now that budget number has doubled. All right, here are the $10 million club for this coming year. Based on a variety of sources, schools believed to be operating in the realm of this golden tier are, and they're in alphabetical order.
Oh, alphabetical.
So they're in alphabetical order. So alphabetically, we go Arkansas, BYU, Duke, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisville, Michigan, North Carolina, St. John's, and Texas Tech. Listen to that lineup of schools.
But Kansas is not even in that list.
No, they are not. But here you go. There's another group of schools a rung below this. Don't cry for these guys, as they're still hitting at least a hearty $8 million if required. This includes, but is not exclusive to, in alphabetical order, Auburn, UConn, Florida, Houston, Kansas, Kansas State, Miami, Purdue, Tennessee, Texas, UCLA, USC, Villanova, Virginia. And there's still more trying to get there. My gosh, that's your top 20.
Yeah, it is.
In alphabetical order is what that is.
But to my discussion last night that I had, Texas Tech is actually committing more NIL dollars than Kansas is to their basketball program.
As of right this minute.
As of right now.
Yeah. So, anyway.
That's good.
Oh, I guess.
Karen, my sister,
if you want to compete, it is.
Sent me a deal.
And we do.
Michigan Wolverines are at $8.8 million, and Kentucky's at 7 points. See, Kentucky's another one that's fallen on hard times, and these people, the Kansases and the Kentuckys, they expect to win national championship every year.
Mm-hmm.
They really do.
Yeah.
And I wish we thought that way.
Well,
maybe we'll get there.
I think we're about to get there.
I know it.
But once again, everything changes here in a couple of months, and then you go, okay, how's that going to all work out? We're playing really good and very competitive in this new and the way it is right now. Here in a couple of months, when it changes, I don't know. We shall see.
Yeah, with the new rules.
Remember Steve Mongo McMichael? Steve McMichael, Hall of Famer for the Bears?
Yep.
He died.
Oh.
And he was 67.
Yeah.
Do you know what tour players are going to be able to use next year? Rangefinders. That's going to save so much time. They've got to find a way to speed golf up. Yeah. Golf right now, here's what I think of golf right now on TV. And I'll watch it. I watched the Masters.
Yeah, I did too.
Start to finish. But I look at golf as a great napping sport. Because you can nod off 30 or 40 minutes later, wake up, and they're like 2 or 3 holes from when you went to sleep.
You certainly can. If you take a long nap, you can catch the end.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah. You could Rip Van Winkle it and still
catch
wake
the
up.
end of it.
Yeah, it's sort of like college baseball. You can take a good nap and still catch several hours of it.
They're playing a doubleheader today, starting at 2.
Right.
So how many? Are they going to do 7 innings in the first game?
Nope.
2 9-inning games. What time do you think they'll finish?
And it may be warm when you go out there, but take a jacket because you never know. And you can't take an umbrella in, but you can sure take a poncho.
What time will they finish?
They start at 2, 8.
Yeah. It's a long time.
8 or later.
Yeah.
8 or later. You know, with the weather the way it is, I don't think the ball shouldn't carry if it's sort of muggy. So, and it depends on the plate umpire, you know, if he wants to.
And the pitchers, if they'll throw strikes and not walk everybody.
Yeah. Okay, Spencer Strider, Atlanta Braves flamethrower, returned to the mound Wednesday after a 1-year hiatus because of elbow injury. He recorded his 500th career strikeout and his 334th career inning, the fastest pitcher ever to reach that milestone.
My gosh.
Yeah, that's why I read it, because it was my gosh.
It's pretty impressive.
You got Nolan Ryan and you got Koufax and all those people. And this guy, Spencer Strider, is the fastest to 500 strikeouts. Okay, there's 55 head coaching vacancies in Division I basketball.
That's a bunch.
And when this was written, there was 54 of them had been filled.
Oh.
But I'm sure all of them have been filled by now.
You mentioned Sandy Koufax. That was the guy that said, you know, Sandy Koufax in 1960s, whatever, was 24-5. He goes, I can believe the 24. What I can't figure out is how in the world he lost 5.
How did he lose 5 games?
Yeah, how's that possible?
No, that's exactly right.
Because he was really something. And I saw him pitch in person at the Astrodome.
Great. That's great.
I didn't know what I was watching. I was just a kid. But
I've got some friends that have gone to Vegas to watch the Eagles and have seen the Eagles different places, different people have. But that's sort of like Koufax pitching. I did not go watch Koufax pitch. I was around Koufax at Instructional League in baseball, so I got to be around Koufax. I never watched him pitch, but I'm going to go watch the Eagles because that's sort of like the Rolling Stones and the Beatles.
I saw the Eagles when they were here.
And you've been there, done that.
Yeah, they were.
I haven't.
They were awesome.
But they're in that sphere thing, and that's supposed to be.
I know it. Everybody's all
phenomenal. I mean, but it better be because it's like $500, $600, $700 a ticket, a ducat.
Way.
How much was it out here? 100?
No, probably less than that.
Okay.
All right. The most games in the NFL with 100 plus rushing yards. Who's the all-time leader as a running back in the NFL that had the most 100 plus yard rushing games?
Well, it'd have to be somebody. I would say somebody like Jim Brown, but he didn't have a very long career.
Yeah.
And then there's Sweetness.
Yeah. He'd be a good guess. Walter Payton would be.
And the thing about Payton is he never would just run out of bounds. Him and Jim Brown would rather run over you
Earl Campbell
than sneak out of bounds on you.
And Earl Campbell would not be a good guess.
He wouldn't?
No.
Yeah, because he had not a long career.
Barry Sanders?
Barry Sanders would be a good guess. He
didn't have a long career.
He was number 3 all time. 76. Walter Payton was number 2 all time with 77.
There you go.
Eric Dickerson, number 4 all time with 64.
All right.
Jerome Bettis, 61. Edgerrin James, 57. Curtis Martin with the Jets, 57. Adrian Peterson, 56. Fred Taylor with the Jaguars, 49. I wouldn't have guessed him ever. 49.
I couldn't even told you he played.
What
was his name again?
Fred Taylor.
No,
he's just normal.
I couldn't have told you.
He's a really good runner.
I'd say, is he a roofer?
Yeah.
What's he do?
LaDainian Tomlinson. Where'd he play?
Yeah, TCU.
Yeah. 47. Franco Harris. You remember that?
Oh, he's tough, too.
47, but that's not who was the number 1 guy.
Give me a hint.
He wore a star.
Oh, Emmett?
Emmitt Smith.
There you go.
Number 1 was 78. Is 1 more than Peyton.
All right, here's what I remember about Eric Dickerson. He's running around the end against Texas Tech, and he loses control of the ball. The ball bounces once or twice, bounces right back up into his arm.
I remember that play.
And he took it right on into the end zone.
I remember that.
So, anyway.
Who's better, Michael Jordan, or LeBron James? Overall stats.
That's for other people to decide because
Jordan is number 1 in almost every stat that they've listed here. The only one he's behind James in is in total points because James plays so long.
Yeah.
But he's number one in everything. I mean, it's just like Jordan he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He is.
I'm fine with whoever people come up with. Y'all just let me know, and I'll be fine with it. All right. 5 Canadian teams have headed to the Stanley Cup. It's the highest in 30 years. All right. I'm not even going to ask you who they are, but when was the last time a Canadian team, David, won the Stanley Cup?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. B?
Late 1990s.
I'm going to give you the point. Early 1990s.
93?
93.
Well, why did you say that?
The Montreal Canadiens.
I thought 93 in my brain. I was like, no, it hasn't been that long.
How would you even know that, Brennan? That's embarrassing you know that.
Whenever Team USA beat Canada in that Four Nations face-off, it was mentioned that Canada hadn't won a Stanley Cup in over 30 years
or so since
So
a
who they got this
Canadian
year?
team has won the Maple Leafs. All right. Who are the Maple Leafs?
I don't know.
Toronto. Are Toronto the Maple Leafs?
I think so.
All right. The Oilers is Edmonton.
Yeah.
Oilers. The Senators.
Ottawa.
Is it? I'm going to go with you.
Ottawa Senators.
I was going to guess Washington. I'm kidding. Wait a minute. The Canadians, that's Montreal.
Yeah.
What did we say the Maple Leafs were? Toronto. I think we're doing good. The Jets.
Winnipeg.
Let's go with that. I'd say as a group we passed.
Mainly because you and Brennan, I watched hockey the other night, though. I watched the Dallas Stars, and they won in overtime, and I kind of enjoyed it a little bit.
Oh, the playoffs, once you get down to where it's like the best of 5 and it's the 5th game,
Yeah.
or the best of 7 and the 7th game, where everything matters, I'll watch
I just
hockey.
can't keep up with the puck good enough.
They really need to light that thing up somehow.
I can't see it, and then
Oh, well, like ESPN Sports Center, the top 10, and they'll be showing hockey deals. I'll have to run it back and slow it down just to see, well, did he catch the puck or did he?
And I can't tell if it was just a good shot or just luck.
Well, I think
Just a lot of his luck.
And why don't you get just a big old blob of a goalie? I mean, like
huge
a 400-pounder that fairly nimble,
Yeah.
and just let him sit there and spread, squat down and spread his
You have a
legs,
little bit of space you got to shoot.
and just be big.
Yeah.
And don't be trying to catch it. Just stand there. And if they hit that little area, goal.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, just get you a big old hunk of a goalie. All right. Did you see Mike Trout, the fan, reach in Mike Trout's glove? I think he didn't take his glove off of his hand, but I mean, literally, it's like a fight in the stands, and he pulls the ball away, and the umpire goes down there and says, safe, foul ball. And then Trout, instead of getting mad at the guy after the game, he met with the guy after the game, and it was all good.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I saw Trout make a diving catch the other night. I mean, this guy, Trout's getting older, isn't he? You wouldn't know it.
Yeah, but
He was really, it was a heck of a play. Laid out flat and just made the catch.
He's a good one, and apparently a good human being too. Not that matters, but
Yeah, it does. It matters.
all right. Who won the Frozen Four? Who won the first national title ever in NCAA hockey? You learn it all here, folks.
Maine.
Oh,
Western Michigan.
Western. Who'd they beat?
Boston College.
Boston. They beat Boston.
Oh, then the Maine didn't win it?
No, Western Michigan.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah, they were going to win it, but they were letting girls play on their team.
September 24th, 2013. So that was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
A Minneapolis journalist named Gary Cox tweeted this out. The best 6th grade guard he'd ever seen. Remember this name.
Are we talking basketball?
Yeah, women's basketball.
Okay.
Paige Buckers.
Paige Beckers.
And I'll guarantee you Pete Christie could have done that with Aaliyah Chavez. Because he did a deal on her when she was little bitty. And I said, well, not little bitty, but junior high. And I remember thinking, oh, my gosh. So anyway, I think we're going to be able to see that.
If Bella, Aaliyah's sister, stays here, you may see it again. But that commitment level that you have to do what Aaliyah has done.
Yeah.
Very few have that.
Very few have it. There's only a handful of us.
Yeah. Commitment. That's what Coach Magel always said about you.
You like job security, Dave? For the third time in 23 months, the Suns have fired their head coach.
Oh, my God.
So whoever replaces Mike Bedenholzer, it would be Devin Booker's 8th head coach.
Unbelievable.
In 11 years. They've had 8 coaches in 11 years. So anyway. All right, the final round of the Masters averaged 12.7 million viewers on CBS, 33% jump from last year's, and the biggest rating for any golf telecast since 2018.
Well, Rory was playing for the Grand Slam, and I'm so proud. I just so proud that he got it done. He won the Masters and finished the 6th person in history to do that.
And he's a likable guy.
You've been listening to the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live Saturday mornings from 9 to noon on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.